Hey there, welcome back to the athomedive YouTube channel. As always, my name is Joey, and today we're in the kitchen making something fantastic. Panettone is something that's always good to have around. And the holiday season's coming up. It is great for any social event or to gift to that perfect person that you really have no clue what to buy for, but you know they would appreciate something special. So sit back, hit that subscribe button, and let's dive right in. And on the counter today, we have a pretty simple list of ingredients. We are going to need almonds later on and another tablespoon of butter, but these are the things we're going to need today. We're going to get started with 5 cups of AP flour, 1 cup of raisins. I also have 1/2 cup of mixed dry fruit. I used apricots and dried cherries. I have hot water, 12 tablespoons of room temperature softened butter, 5 large grade A eggs, 1/3 cup of granulated white sugar, zest of 1 lemon. I have 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract and 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract. If you don't have almond, you can just use vanilla. I have 2 ounces of dark rum, and I have 1 tablespoon of active dry yeast. And that's all we're gonna need to get started. We'll grab the almonds and the other butter tomorrow. So we're gonna start by grabbing the bowl to our KitchenAid mixer. We're gonna drop the yeast in here, and we're gonna grab about 1 tablespoon of this sugar and set the rest aside. Now we're gonna add in about 2/3 cup of warm water. We're gonna give this a quick stir and then let it sit here for about 5 to 7 minutes or until our yeast starts to activate. Now that our yeast is nice and developed all the way, I'm gonna go ahead and take about 1 cup of the flour. We're just gonna leave all the rest of it behind. We only need a little bit for now. We just need to get the dough started. So now I'm just gonna mix this until we have like a nice thick batter. This is gonna come together pretty quick, but we just wanna get most of the lumps out and have the batter ready to go. Here we go. As you can see, it kind of looks like pancake batter. Now we're gonna put this somewhere warm, wrapped in plastic wrap for 45 to 90 minutes, however long it takes it to double in size. In the meantime, we're gonna go ahead and bring back the fruit and the rum. We're gonna go ahead and add in 1/4 cup of hot water. We're just gonna give these a stir, let them get coated in the liquid, and then sit in the liquid so that they can soak up as much of it as possible over the next 24 hours. I'm gonna set this aside and just stir it occasionally throughout the process.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Now we're back, and as you can see, our dough here has a little over doubled in size, so it's time to get going. We're gonna go ahead and attach it to the KitchenAid with the paddle attachment, and then we're gonna add the eggs one at a time with the mixer running on medium. Now we're gonna go ahead and add in the lemon zest, the sugar, and the vanilla extract. Now we're gonna go ahead and add 2.5 cups, or about 2/3 of our remaining flour. So now, as you can see, we have a pretty thick dough. It's important at this stage that we go ahead and get rid of the paddle attachment. Now we're gonna go ahead and add the remaining flour. Now with the dough hook, we're gonna let this run for about 8 to 10 minutes on medium-low until it's nice and silky smooth. So now, as you can see, the dough has a lot more structure to it, so it's definitely starting to firm up and become very stretchy. Now, with the mixer running, we're gonna add the butter 1 tablespoon at a time until it's fully incorporated. Once it's fully incorporated, we're gonna let it continue to run for about 2 more minutes. Now as you can see, the dough is silky smooth. It's nice, it looks elasticy, but it looks very smooth, although you can see the little bits of lemon zest in there. It's not pulling away from the edges of the bowl though, and that's kind of what we're looking for. So at this point, we're gonna leave the mixer running and we're slowly gonna add probably 4 to 5 tablespoons of flour, however much you need for it to start pulling away from the sides. All right, as you can see here, the dough's pulling away from the sides, but not the bottom. It's back to nice and smooth after we added the additional flour. We're good to go. I'm just gonna go in and rake down the sides of my bowl real fast and shape this into a ball. This should only take you just a second. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just wanna pull everything into the shape of a ball. Now I'm just gonna coat this in pan spray and leave it wrapped in the refrigerator overnight or until you're ready to bake it. I suggest at least 8 hours. All right, we are back and we have let the dough sit overnight. Now I'm gonna go ahead and dust the entire countertop pretty lightly with AP flour. Now we're gonna grab our dough, and as you can see, it's risen a fair amount overnight. We're gonna go ahead and gently turn this dough out onto the floured surface and start to work it. You can use your hands to press the dough into shape if you'd like, or you can go ahead and grab a trusty rolling pin. A rolling pin's just gonna help you get it nice and even. Although it doesn't have to be perfect, it's good if we can get close. I'm looking for about a 12 by 15 shape. All right, now we're gonna bring back our dried fruit mixture from yesterday that we soaked in rum. As you can see, almost all of the liquid is gone, and now the fruit's just a little bit larger. We're gonna go ahead and spread this out all around this nice and even. Now I've gathered about half a cup of chopped almonds. You can use slivers if you'd like, but I just happen to have a lot of whole almonds, so I just went ahead and chopped them up. I'm gonna also spread these evenly. Now I'm gonna go around and press these pretty firmly down into the dough. My goal is to get them to stick here in just a second whenever we fold the dough. Now my goal is to go in and scrape the dough off the countertop, and I'm gonna fold it into thirds. It's important to be careful when you do this and go slow because you don't want to tear the dough or make anything end up being out of place. Now I'm gonna go ahead and fold the dough over to make a nice square. Once the dough's nice and square, I'm gonna go ahead and again give it just a little bit more flour just so I can keep it from sticking to the counter. Flip it over, flour the other side, and now I'm gonna pat it back out into a square. I want this square to be about twice the size of the square that we just had. And as you can see here, you're starting to be able to see all the fruit through the top. Now we're gonna take this and we're gonna Johnny sack it, if you will. And what I mean by that is I'm gonna take the outside corners and I'm gonna pull them right to the center. Now's when the fun starts. Now we can get our Panettone pan. If you don't actually have a Panettone pan, which I imagine a lot of people don't, you can go ahead and use a regular cake pan if you'd like. It's just gonna vary your cook times a little bit. So just keep an eye on it when you go to bake it. Now we're gonna go the seam side down right into our pan. I'm just gonna press this around so it's nice and even. And then we're gonna place this somewhere warm and let it rise. This should take about an hour and a half or until the dough comes to the top of the pan.
1 hour later.
So we're back and it's been about an hour and a half, and as you can see here, our dough has risen to just above the top of the pan. So now we have one final step, and that's gonna be to come in with a knife and just cut a nice shallow X right across the top of this. And that's gonna make our bread rise evenly in the direction that we're looking for. The very last ingredient is gonna be this tablespoon of cold butter. I went ahead and mashed it down a little bit, hoping that it'll sit on top a little longer and stay closer to the X and soak down into the bread as it bakes. Now we're gonna place this in the oven, which is preheated to 375 degrees, but immediately turn it down to 325 degrees. Now we're gonna bake it for 30 minutes and then we'll be back. All right, so it's been in the oven for about 30 minutes now, and as you can see, it started to expand and brown nicely. We're gonna go ahead and cover this loosely with aluminum foil and put it back in the oven for another 45 minutes or until it passes the clean skewer test. We're gonna insert the skewer dead in the middle, nice and slow, and pull it out. The skewer is nice and clean. So this is good to go. Now's the hardest part of making this. We just have to be patient and let it cool all the way to room temperature. Once your Panettone is cooled off most of the way, we can start doing some stuff that'll help us speed up the process. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the pan. This can be a little tricky just due to the shape of it and the nature of springform pans, but I like to go ahead and just take the collar off and then remove it right like so. So here is our first look at our Panettone, but we have to wait and continue to let it cool off.
One eternity later.
So here is our massive and beautiful Panettone. As you can see, it has all the dry fruit pieces and the almonds coming out of the top. It's got the nice firm sides and the soft fluffy interior poking through. Let's go ahead and cut this open and see how it looks. So here's a look at our slice of Panettone. You can see all the almonds and the raisins and the apricots and all the fantastically delicious stuff that's in there. You can see like the nice folds where we rolled the bread together, and you can see all those nice little tiny but even air pockets. And if we look in here, it looks just the same. You can see how everything's distributed nice and even. This thing is fantastic. Let's dig in. All right, well that wraps us up on how to make classic Italian Panettone. Comment below and let me know how you thought the video turned out and how your Panettone turns out. Make sure to like and subscribe. Have a great day.